Every time you say the word salary, you're quoting salt. For most of human history, this ordinary white crystal was rare enough and valuable enough to move armies, build roads, and help spark a revolution. This is the real history behind one of the most common words in the English language, and it's stranger than the legend you've probably heard. Before refrigeration, salt was one of the only ways to keep meat and fish from rotting, essential for surviving winters, long voyages, and military campaigns. It's also biologically non-negotiable. The human body needs sodium to function at all. Archaeologists have found organized salt production sites in Europe dating back more than 6,000 years. Wherever people found a reliable salt source, settlements and trade routes grew up around it. Scarcity plus necessity is exactly what turns a substance into money, and across the ancient world, that's precisely what happened to salt. In Ethiopia, rectangular salt bars called amoli functioned as everyday currency for centuries, mentioned by Greek traveler as early as the 500s, and still circulating well into the 20th century. Marco Polo, traveling through the Mongol Empire in the 1200s, described salt pressed into cakes and stamped with the Great Khan's own seal, a government-issued salt coin you could spend like money. And across the Sahara, caravans carried slabs of salt from desert mines to trading cities like Timbuktu, where in some documented cases it was exchanged for its equal weight in West African gold. This wasn't folklore. Salt as currency is some of the best documented economic history we have. In Italy, salt built infrastructure. The Via Salaria, literally Salt Road, was one of Rome's oldest routes, stretching roughly 150 miles from marshes at the mouth of the Tiber to the Adriatic coast. It predates Rome's founding. The Sabine people used it to haul salt inland long before the city existed. Some historians even argue that control of these salt flats helped Rome grow into a regional power in the first place. Here's where the popular story gets it wrong. The word salary really does come from Latin salarium, a cash allowance paid to Roman soldiers and officials tied to salarius, meaning having to do with salt. But the common version, that legionaries were literally handed blocks of salt as their wages, isn't supported by any surviving Roman record. Historians tracing the claim have found it hardens into its modern form only in a 1771 Italian-Latin dictionary, which appears to have confused salt taxes with soldiers' pay. What's more likely, salt was such a universal, essential commodity in the ancient economy that its name simply attached itself to the idea of money and wages in general, the way we still say someone is worth their salt. You don't need the literal myth for this to be remarkable. The word for your paycheck is a fossil of just how valuable salt once was. Because salt was so valuable, it was also irresistible to tax. Han Dynasty China made salt a state monopoly around the 2nd century BC to fund its wars. France's Gabelle forced households to buy fixed quotas of royal salt, and became one of the grievances that helped fuel the French Revolution. And in 1930, Mahatma Gandhi led a 240-mile march to the sea to make salt by hand, defying Britain's colonial salt tax in one of the most famous acts of civil disobedience in history. From Ethiopian salt bars to Roman roads to a march that helped end an empire's grip on a colony, salt shaped economies, language, and history long before it became something you just add to your food. So the next time you get paid, remember, you're still, in name at least, being paid in salt.